Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Let's see, Ms. Bridgewater, can you give us the SAP reset date, please?
Sure, it's going to be August the 2nd.
All right, where we're going to start this afternoon?
In courtroom number 3, please, with position number 1, Judge.
Okay.
We do need a breakout session for 2 defendants that's on the calendar, but courtroom 1 hasn't logged on yet. So if you could just give us 1 moment, please.
Okay. So can we go ahead with Mr. Allen, or you need a minute?
Yes, we can go ahead with Mr. Allen. Yes,
Okay.
Judge.
Okay.
Thank you.
And good afternoon, Mr. Allen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, it don't matter to me.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Allen. You've been charged in case 22 CR 004573C with criminal trespass and fare evasion. Good afternoon, Mr. Howard. Is there a history?
13 total. Last arrest was May, DeKalb County, FTA for trespass and simple assault. February, probation violation. On probation in Spalding County for theft by taking. Clayton County for theft by taking. 2021 probation. Another fade to appeal 2021. Another one. And a 2021 burglary first degree. I'm not sure about the disposition. 2020 felony terroristic threats conviction. That was out of DeKalb. 2020 simple battery theft by taking conviction. That's the one from Spalding. Yeah, the ag assault, ag stalking that was dismissed from 2016. 2016 battery DV dismissed, and a 2012 possession of cocaine dismissed.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Tortorello.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. For this defendant, the state's recommending for the bond to remain as set. For the criminal trespass, a $500 surety bond. For the fare evasion charge, a $300 surety bond. That's a total of $800. Conditions is to stay away from the incident location at MARTA 5 Point Station, 30 Alabama Street, Southwest in Atlanta. No drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, on July 16th, 2022, the defendant, Travis Allen, knowingly and intentionally entered the MARTA 5 Point Station at 30 Alabama Street Southwest. The defendant had an active suspension banning him from MARTA property effective until September 3rd, 2022. Officer T. Marthone of the MARTA Police Department witnessed the defendant walk through the open emergency fare gate without paying the required fee of $2.50. The defendant was arrested, and all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, we are asking for that surety bond. Already stated on record, this defendant has 13 cycles. He poses a risk of reoffending. He's also a flight risk, Your Honor. He has had several FTAs, one out of DeKalb, a probation violation out of Spalding, another FTA last year, and some serious violent offenses on his record. So for that reason, Your Honor, we are asking for that $800 surety bond total. Nothing further from the state.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Gant. Is this your client?
Yes, it is. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mr. Travis Allen is 30 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has a 15-year-old daughter. He is working to take care of her. In fact, he just found a job about 2 months ago at UPS. He's still on probation and needs to get back to work so that he doesn't lose that job. We are unopposed to the stay away at the incident location. A little bit more about Mr. Allen. He completed the 12th grade, and again, he is working. He's presumed innocent, Your Honor. These are just allegations, and given the nature of the crime, the nature of the alleged crime, that I'm requesting a signature bond on his behalf. He doesn't have the means to pay much toward anything, much to pay toward bond, if anything. If Your Honor determines that he's eligible for a signature bond, then I would ask for the lowest bond possible, namely $150 for each charge. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. It's going to be a $500 signature bond through the jail for each charge, making it a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the MARTA at 30 Alabama Street. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Allen.
I get a signature, Mom.
Yes, sir, you did.
All right.
All right.
Gotta go ahead and put on third row for me, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good one.
You're welcome.
Position number 3 is next judge, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Goodwin. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Correct.
Thank you. Mr. Goodwin, you've been charged in case 22 CR 004574C for simple assault family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I'm about 21 total. Last arrest was 2019, suspended registration. 2016 ag assault, ag battery DV. He was found not guilty on those. Hold on. 2015 terroristic threat, simple assault, not presented to grand jury. 2012 probation violation for violation of TPO. That came off of a 2011 conviction out of Coweta County. Everything else is from the 90s. Hold on, you got history out of Maryland, but that's from the 80s. Yeah, that's it, Jeff.
Okay. Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor, and before I proceed, is there any way that we could also take his, listen to the case of his cross-defendant, defendant Cynthia Kirkpatrick, since it's the same case? I believe she's in the South Annex.
Okay, so what we'll do is let's take up Mr. Goodwin's case first, and then we'll take up Ms. Kirkpatrick's case, and you won't have to if you'll just tell me all the facts now.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's do Mr. Goodwin first, but knowing that we'll go to the South Annex for Ms. Kirkpatrick following. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. For the simple assault family violence is a $2,500 surety bond. The conditions is no contact with the victim, the cross defendant, Cynthia Kirkpatrick. And it's a traditional spelling for both first and last name. Stay away from the incident location, which is 698 Queen Road Southwest, apartment 1, Atlanta, Georgia. And 1-day anger management, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, on July 16, 2022, Officer Jay Cowens of the Atlanta Police Department responded to 698 Queen Road Southwest, apartment 1, the incident location, in regards to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with the cross-defendant, Cynthia Kirkpatrick, who said she was in a dispute with her boyfriend, defendant Cortez Goodwin, and that they both reside in the same home. Ms. Kirkpatrick stated that she had been gone for 3 days due to her mother being in the hospital and got home and prepared to go to bed. Ms. Kirkpatrick said that she got woken up due to the defendant, who was intoxicated, busting into their bedroom. The defendant was yelling and cursing at Ms. Kirkpatrick in a violent manner, upset she had been gone for 3 days and not answering her phone. Ms. Kirkpatrick said she feared the defendant would harm her due to him acting violently towards her. The officer observed a hole in the wall behind the door that appeared to have come from the defendant forcing his way into the room. Ms. Kirkpatrick said she advised the defendant that she went out drinking with friends after being in the hospital with her mother and prior to coming home. The officer then spoke to the defendant, who appeared to be intoxicated. The defendant advised he had been injured by Ms. Kirkpatrick after she grabbed his shirt, ripped his clothing, and scratched his back, causing injuries to his back. The officer observed injuries to the defendant's back and damage to his clothes. Defendant advised he had been with Ms. Kirkpatrick Kirkpatrick's father all day and cooking for Ms. Kirkpatrick's mother. Defendant further advised Ms. Kirkpatrick did not pick up the phone until he called her from her father's phone. Defendant said Ms. Kirkpatrick began to assault him when he asked her about her whereabouts. The officer could not figure out who the primary aggressor was, and both parties were arrested. And all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, for this defendant, he poses a risk of reoffending and committing violent offenses while he's out on bond, and to add felonies while out on bond. He also poses a flight risk as he is a multi-state offender, Your Honor. He has 19 cycles out of Georgia, 1 cycle out of Illinois, and 1 cycle out of Maryland. His arrests include aggravated assault, aggravated battery, battery family violence out of DeKalb County Police Department, where he was found, for the record, he was acquitted and found not guilty. In 2015, he was arrested for terroristic threats, a felony, simple assault out of DeKalb County Police Department. The disposition shows it was presented to the grand jury. He also has a violation of probation on his record. And for that reason, Your Honor, we're asking for that $2,500 surety bond for this case. Nothing further.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lynch. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Your Honor, what I would ask the court to consider in this case would be a signature bond in the same amount as proposed by the state. Excuse me. Mr. Goodwin is 55 years old. He has been in the Atlanta area for the past 30 years. He has had the same job at Piedmont Hospital for the last 5 years. He does work in the community, such as he does some youth counseling, and also he sits on the board of his neighborhood association in Pittsburgh neighborhood. I believe the state made reference to some arrests that did not result in convictions. I believe he hasn't had a conviction for a violent felony in some amount of time. Also, from speaking to my client, he tells me that financially at this time, he's kind of in a tough spot because he just paid his mortgage and purchased a vehicle and is going to have a hard time bonding out. And being incarcerated at this time is a particularly punitive situation for Mr. Goodwin, as he does have some serious pain associated with sciatic nerve damage. And the conditions in the jail are certainly, in his view, making that worse. And so we would ask the court to consider those things. Additionally, Mr. Goodwin, I believe it is my understanding, did call the police in this matter in an effort to prevent the situation from escalating. I understand that's not determinative of criminal culpability, but I think it does speak to the fact that he, well, we'll just leave it at that. So we would ask the court to consider a signature bond for those reasons. Thank you very much.
What is your position on the stay away and the no further contact?
I've spoken to Mr. Goodwin. That is his residence, where the cross defendant also has resided for a significant period of time. We would ask that he not be given a stay away from that location. But I did speak to him about the fact that if there is a stay away order from the alleged victim, that he would have to comply with that. I believe they both would want contact. So we would ask there not to be a stay away order either, but we understand that Your Honor has to consider multiple factors as to that.
And Your Honor, the state would stress that there be, whatever your decision is, Your Honor, that there be no contact, as there hasn't been enough cooling off period between both parties.
Ms. Kim, do you represent Ms. Kirkpatrick?
Wanda Gant does, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Ms. Gant, what is your client's desire as far as contact is concerned?
My client wants contact as well.
Okay, Mr. Howard, can you give me Ms. Kirkpatrick's history, please? I know she's recommended.
The one total. Last arrest was 2013. Possession of marijuana. Before that was 2010, so everything's old.
Okay. Let's see, anything further, Mr. Lynch?
Not this time, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, so for Mr. Goodwin, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Cynthia Kirkpatrick, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let me go, and while we're still all here, so if there's nothing further, courtroom 3, I'm going to go to the South Annex very quickly since I've just heard that case. For Ms. Kirkpatrick. Good afternoon, Ms. Kirkpatrick. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Good afternoon, Judge. I do.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 004575G with battery family violence. Let's see, do you have anything further that you need to say, Ms. Gant or Ms. Tortorella?
For the state, Your Honor, we are recommending a $4,500 surety bond, similar conditions to the order you just announced, Your Honor, on record. However, we are insisting on no contact with the victim. The state does take domestic violence cases very seriously. And again, these defendants have not had enough time to cool off. But however, we are asking for a $4,500 surety bond.
Okay, thank you. So she's going to get the same as Mr. Goodwin, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Goodwin, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Ms. Gant?
Yes, it does, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, good luck to you both, Mr. Goodwin and Ms. Kirkpatrick.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good day. Good to see you, Mr. Lynch.
Thank you, sir.
Who do we have next? And I know that the interpreter's here. Good afternoon, Madam
Courtroom number
Interpreter.
1, Judge.
Okay, so all right, so.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Madam Interpreter. Let's see, who do we have in courtroom number 1?
I have the two guy that needs Spanish interpretation.
Okay, and who represents these gentlemen?
One for Kim, one for Gang.
Okay, who wants to go first? Who do we have in courtroom 3? Who's?
I have position number 5, Mr. Mitchell, Judge.
And who represents Mr. Mitchell?
Wanda Gant, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm going to keep you out so we can do Mr. Mitchell, Ms. Gant, Ms. Kim. I'm going to put you in the and the interpreter in the courtroom 1 into a breakout room of the courtroom 1 so you can speak with your client. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Madam Interpreter, since I have you here, can you raise your right hand for me?
Give me a second, Judge.
Oh, that's fine. I'll get her when she comes back. All right. So let's go on to courtroom 3, and this is Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Mitchell. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Mitchell, you've been charged in case 22 CR 004576H with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
21 total. Last arrest was 2017, sale of marijuana, possession of cocaine with intent. He's on probation for that. 17 SC 151223. Got a possession of marijuana with intent, participation in criminal street gang activity, possession of meth. That's 13 SC 119360. In 2013, they gave him 5 to serve and 5 years probation for that. Got probation violations from 2017, FTA 2016. PI charge from 2014. 2013 sale of marijuana, simple battery family violence conviction, 2 counts from 2012. See a 2012 criminal damage to property, robbery, terrorist threats, 2 counts. The terrorist threats was dead docket. I don't know about the other charges. 2011 FTA obstruction, 2011 robbery, theft by receiving arrest, possession of cocaine with intent, conviction 2011, 2011 FTA not prosecuted, and a burglary and criminal attempt to commit a felony conviction from 2010. I think that's it.
Okay, Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's asking for a $10,000 cash bond on the battery family violence charge. The conditions is that he have no contact with the victim, and her name is Nyraya Lee. The first name for the record is N as in Nancy, Yraya. For the defendant to stay away from 879 Parsons Street Southwest in Atlanta, the incident location. 1 day anger management, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, on July 16, 2022, Officer A. Manson of the Atlanta Police Department responded to the incident location regarding a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer spoke to the victim, Nyraya Lee, who advised she was assaulted by her boyfriend, defendant Jonathan Mitchell. Ms. Lee advised 911 operators that she had been assaulted and that she was armed with a knife to defend herself. Ms. Lee said the defendant had just left the location with her phone. While speaking to Ms. Lee, the defendant began walking toward the officer. The defendant advised that he was involved in a dispute with Ms. Lee, and Ms. Lee began to knock items in the room and she was acting out. Defendant admitted to the officer that he grabbed Ms. Lee in an attempt to restrain her and took her phone and left the location to let the situation calm down. The officer then spoke to Ms. Lee, who said something different. They were arguing about the defendant being woken up early and that he was still intoxicated from the night before. She said the defendant started to yell at her, so she yelled back at him. Ms. Lee advised that the defendant grabbed her by the neck and began to punch her in the left side of her face. The officer observed scratches on the left side of Ms. Lee's face and neck. The officer advised Ms. Lee that the defendant said he grabbed her to calm her down because she was flipping things in the room. The officer asked Ms. Lee if that sounded right to her, and she advised that it wasn't what happened and that the defendant was the one who was flipping over items and that he grabbed her neck and punched her. Ms. Lee advised the officer that she had called multiple times in the past for similar incidents, but he is always running off when police arrive. Through the officer's investigation, he did discover that there is history between both parties, and it's extensive, and that it is not the first time police have been called out to the incident location. Ms. Lee showed the officer how she has begun to hang out in the closet to watch TV to try to get some separation between her and the defendant. Ms. Lee's injuries were captured on Officer Novus's body-worn camera, and Ms. Lee and the defendant do live together at the incident location. Your Honor, we are very concerned about this. This is a dangerous individual given his criminal record and the fact that he is associated with a gang and we do have concerns for public safety and the safety of the victim. He did plead to association with a gang. I believe it was an Alford plea, participating in criminal street gang in 2013 out of Fulton County Superior Court, and that case number is 13 SC 119360. To add, Your Honor, there's an open felony case against this individual, 21 CP 204830 for aggravated assault, deadly weapon, armed robbery, possession of a knife or firearm during commission of a crime, 2 counts, theft by taking, unlawful for person to be employed by criminal gang activity, obstruction. The incident date, November 28th, 2021, filed November 29th, 2021, and it's charged under his alias, John Mitchell. He also has an old open felony case, Your Honor, 10 CP 110793, criminal damage to property, second degree, 2 counts, criminal attempt to commit a crime. And that offense date was June 4th, 2010, Your Honor. Still shows as open in the system. He does pose a risk of reoffending. He has 21 cycles. He has been charged with he did plead to battery, substantial physical harm, two counts. It was a negotiated plea. Odyssey does not state whether it was a guilty or a nolo. However, it did happen in Fulton State Court. This was October 20th, 2011. You heard his extensive criminal history from pre-trial, Your Honor. That's why we are asking for that $10,000 cash bond. Nothing further.
Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Jonathan Mitchell is 31 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He is a proud father of two children, ages 11 and 5. He is actively involved in their lives. Your Honor, we are unopposed to the stay away. That is Mr. Mitchell's residence. However, he informs me that he plans on moving anyway, as his lease will be up, I believe, in a month. We are requesting a one-time law enforcement escort. Mr. Mitchell completed 10th grade. He is currently employed at Marching Browers. He has been in that position for 1 year. He is full-time. However, he does not have the means to pay much toward bond. The job doesn't pay much, and obviously he has two small children. He denies the allegations, and as we've heard, and my client maintains that he was basically taking measures to calm Miss Lee down. Obviously, he does not want to get stabbed. Your Honor, I do acknowledge my client's history. However, the robberies that I heard are, the violent convictions are a tad remote, and I did not hear about any probation violations or FTAs. Therefore, I am requesting a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for a low bond for this battery family violence. We have one allegation before us. He's presumed innocent. $1,000 max for the bond, and that would be a surety bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. It's going to be a $5,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Lee. Stay away from the Parsons Street address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Mitchell. Let's see. I see that we have Ms. Kim back. So can we go ahead and put, well, let's see if we, who else do we have in courtroom 3?
Judge, I have position number 6 and position number 9.
6 and 9, are either of these your cases, Ms. Kim? Okay, so let's go ahead and put Ms. Gant into the breakout room with the interpreter, and we'll do Ms. Kim's cases.
Ms. Kim, which position is your case?
Both of them are my case.
Oh, okay, that's even better. Thank you.
Yes.
Come on, Ms. Come on, Ms.
And this is Ms. Raper?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Raper. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 004577A with battery and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
What's the name we on again?
It's position 6, Ms. Raper.
First arrest.
Good afternoon, Ms. Sorry.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place at 2023 Sandtown Road in Atlanta. Officers responded to the incident location regarding a dispute call. The owner of the home, her name is Ladorian Head, that's Ladorien. She told officers that her ex-girlfriend, who is the defendant, came to her home to gather possessions. At some point, Ms. Head wanted the defendant to leave, and that was why she called the officers or called 911. And in the presence of officers, the defendant continued to exchange words with Ms. Head and the victim in this case, who is a 15-year-old. Her initials are SH. The defendant walked aggressively towards the victim, and then she struck her multiple times with a closed fist. Again, that was in the presence of officers. They did give her verbal commands to stop, but she continued, and the officer had to deploy his taser. The victim in this case, she sustained a busted lip, and for the cruelty charge, that victim, her initials are BR. She is the defendant's daughter. We're not asking for a no contact on that victim. However, for victim initial SH, we are asking for no contact, stay away, a one-day anger awareness course, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and a $4,000 surety bond. That's $1,000 on the cruelty charge and $3,000 on the battery. Nothing further.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to request for signature on bond. This is her first arrest, and pretrial services recommended for unsecured judicial relief. We believe that she's qualified for a signature on bond. She is 20 years old, and this didn't happen at her place. So she does not oppose to stay away. She does not oppose to no further contact with SH. As long as she has no further violent contact with her daughter, BR, she will be okay. She's the only one who's taking care of BR, who is 1 year old. And the father of a baby is apparently very not really present in their life, no child support and no much support or help. So she has to take care of that 1 year old daughter. She's living with her parents and brother and sisters. So she does not have to worry about where to stay. Her highest education was 10th grade, and she's currently working on GED at ICU school. We would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you.
So Ms. Kim, she has no need to go back to the Sandtown Road address, and
No.
you want no further contact. You don't oppose no further contact with the minor SH.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So it's going to be for the battery, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the cruelty, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial, making it a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1 day anger awareness, stay away from the Sandtown Road address, no further contact with minor SH, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Ms. Raker. You're welcome.
Position number 9 is next, please, Judge.
Okay.
I know, I heard you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Weathersby. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Weathersby, you've been charged in case 22 CR 004580J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
First arrest.
Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, officers responded to 1308, the Valley in Sandy Springs. They responded regarding a dispute call. The victim in the case, his name is David Weathersby, and that's the same spelling as the defendant. The defendant actually stated to officers that the victim left the home around 3 p.m. that day to get groceries, and he did not return until around 5:30 a.m. The defendant said when the victim came home, he was drunk and she wanted him to leave. She also informed officers that she took the victim's phone to see what was in it. And when he attempted to retrieve his phone from the defendant, she grabbed a cord and started to hit him with it. The victim did sustain swelling and injuries. The state's recommendation in this case is $3,000 surety bond with conditions of no contact with the victim, stay away, a 1 day anger awareness course, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Have you spoken, or your office spoken to Mr. Weathersby?
Our office was not able to get in contact with him.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes. We would like to request for signature on bond as pretrial services recommended. This is her first offense ever, first arrest. She is 32 years old and she has a one child who is 3 years old. And she's the one who called the police to make sure that nothing bad happens in front of her, the child who is only 3 years old. And as the warrant says, Mr. David was drunken, and she's not really sure what kind of stories Mr. David gave to officer. We would like to request for stay away from her own house, 1308 The Valley. The name is in her name, and Mr. David, even though he's a spouse, I think he should be the one who has to find new place. So we would like to request for a one-time law enforcement escort visit to make sure that Mr. David is not there, and she does not oppose to no further contact with Mr. David. And she is a teacher at Cobb County, and she has been a teacher for the last 10 years. And she has a master's degree and a little bit higher degree for specialist education. So she is qualified for signature on bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
And Your Honor, we would ask the court to issue the stay away. The defendant is the offender in this case, not the victim. And the report or the warrant is the statements are coming from the defendant, where she does admit to hitting the defendant with a cord and causing injuries. So the state is recommending that stay away. A one-time escort is fine as long as the victim is not ordered to stay away. Nothing further.
Your Honor, there was no intent to hit with a cord. She wanted to make sure she was holding the phone. And please consider that Mr. David was the one who was drunken.
Okay, so I'm going to give her a signature bond, Ms. Kim. I'm more concerned about the stay away. So it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. No further contact at this point with Mr. David Weathersby. And she can go back to 1308 The Valley on one occasion with law enforcement. If Mr. Weathersby is residing there, she cannot reside there, and she's going to have to find someplace else to go. If Mr. Weathersby is not residing there, then of course she can reside there.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor, very
All
clear.
right. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, Ms. Weathersby.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so does that complete courtroom 3?
Hey, Judge, thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's see.
Got position 2.
Position 2.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Let's see. And Madam Interpreter, if you could raise your right hand for me, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you swear affirm that you will translate from English to Spanish and from Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And let me clear this up real quick. I see Mr. Fortis there is it Mr. Lopez?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, and I was told earlier that Mr. Lopez was someone else's client.
I didn't know that he had a private attorney, but I would be happy to resign from since he hired a private attorney, Your Honor.
And
Okay,
Judge,
well-
that happened today.
Okay, but you're
Before
gonna need to speak with him, right, Mr. Fortis?
I've spoken to the family. I can speak with him. I think I have enough information, but I'll speak with him if there's a number that I can reach out to him on.
Well, are you gonna need the interpreter to speak with him?
I think he speaks English. I think we're good on that, at least per the family.
Okay, so, all right, let me go ahead and take up Mr. Bianco de la Luz, and I'll come back to Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Good afternoon, Mr. Blanco de la Luz. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You agree to have your case conducted by video.
Hola, señor Blanco de la Luz. Buenas tardes. Yo soy el juez Eric Morrow. Esta es la lista de causas de acusaciones expeditadas. ¿Usted da su consentimiento de que se lleve a cabo esta audiencia por medio virtual? Yes.
You have been charged with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe,
A usted se le acusa de manejar bajo los efectos de alcohol o bajo el riesgo de embriaguez,
failure to keep in proper lane,
no mantenerse en el carril de tránsito,
expired or no driver's license,
manejar sin licencia o manejar con la licencia vencida
and tag light required.
y no cumplir con el requisito de tener la luz de placa.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Licenciado Howard, el señor acusado tiene antecedentes.
I got that he has an open case in Judge Roth for DUI.
Tengo aquí que tiene un caso abierto ante el juez Roth por manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol.
Possession of an open alcohol container, failed to maintain lane, and driving without a valid license.
Posesión de una bebida alcohólica destapada, no mantenerse en el carril de tránsito y manejar sin licencia.
Case number 21CR 007067, A as in Apple.
Número de causa 21 CR 007-067A.
It's a dormant bench warrant.
Y es una orden de arresto judicial inactivo. Y es todo.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommending for the DUI charge a $7,000 surety bond.
Licenciada señora fiscal, sí, su señoría. El Estado está recomendando por la infracción de manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol o el riesgo de embriaguez una fianza de $7,000.
No license charge, an $8,000 surety bond.
Para la infracción de manejar sin licencia, una fianza de $8,000.
Failure to maintain a proper lane, the lane properly, a $1,000 surety bond.
Para la infracción de no mantenerse en el carril de tránsito, una fianza de $1,000.
And for the tag charge, a $1,000 surety bond.
Y por lo de la luz de placa, una multa de $1,000 también.
That would be a total of $17,000, and that would be a surety bond.
Eso sería un total de $17,000 de bono de fianza.
The conditions, it's no driving.
Las condiciones de su fianza es que no puede manejar en absoluto.
According to his driver's driving record, he does not have a valid license.
Según su expediente de manejo, no tiene una licencia para conducir.
ADET,
Una evaluación de alcohol y droga y tratamiento si se lo recomiendan.
no drugs or alcohol, no weapons,
Nada de consumo de drogas ni alcohol y nada de armas.
and no new violations of Georgia law.
Y que no vuelva a incumplir la ley de Georgia.
Your Honor, on July 14th, 2022,
Su señoría, el 14 de julio de 2022,
Officer E. LaCour of the Roswell Police Department
el agente E. LaCour con la policía de Roswell
was traveling eastbound in the right lane on Holcomb Bridge Road
iba rumbo al este en el carril derecho sobre el Holcomb Bridge Road
in Roswell
en la ciudad de Roswell.
when he observed a Ford truck without a tag light in the left lane.
En ese momento observó una camioneta de marca Ford en el carril izquierdo sin la luz de placa.
The officer further observed the vehicle failed to maintain its lane.
Además, el agente de policía observó que ese vehículo no se mantuvo en el carril de tránsito.
The truck would veer over to the yellow double line.
La camioneta pasaba y pisaba la línea doble amarilla
and the driver would jerk the vehicle back into its lane.
y el conductor daba timonazos bruscos para volver a su carril.
The officer activated his emergency equipment and initiated a traffic stop.
El señor agente activó su equipo de emergencia y empezó a hacer orillar al acusado.
The vehicle pulled over at the Shell gas station,
El acusado orilló en la gasolinera Shell
2250 Holcomb Bridge Road.
en el 2250 de la Holcomb Bridge Road.
The officer exited his vehicle and approached the driver's side of the truck.
El señor agente se bajó de su vehículo y se aproximó al lado del conductor de la camioneta.
He asked the driver for his driver's license.
Al conductor le pidió su licencia para conducir.
The driver, identified as defendant Alberto Blanco de la Luz,
El conductor, identificado como Alberto Blanco de la Luz,
advised in very broken English that he did not have a driver's license.
informó en un inglés muy chapurreado que no poseía una licencia para conducir.
And presented the officer with a Mexican consular identification card.
Y en lugar de eso le presentó al señor oficial una identificación consular
The
mexicana.
officer, sorry.
It's okay.
The officer advised the reason for the stop, and as he was speaking to the defendant, he observed
El señor agente le informó del motivo de haberlo parado y cuando estaba hablando con él, observó
his eyes to be bloodshot and glassy,
que
and
sus ojos estaban inyectados en sangre y
And he could-
vidriosos.
and he could smell a strong odor of alcoholic beverage emitting from his person.
Y también percató un olor muy fuerte a alcohol que se despedía de su persona.
The defendant admitted to drinking some cervezas,
El señor acusado admitió haber consumido algunas cervezas.
which is what he told the officer.
Eso fue lo que él le informó al oficial, a la gente.
And for the record, in English, that means beers.
Y para que conste en el acta en inglés, eso significa cerveza.
The officer asked the defendant to step out of his vehicle,
El señor agente le pidió que se bajara de su vehículo
and if he would do some field sobriety evaluations.
para someterse a unos ejercicios de sobriedad en el campo.
The language barrier was too much,
Pero el problema del idioma era bastante.
and the officer placed the defendant under arrest.
Y el señor agente detuvo entonces al acusado.
The defendant was read Georgia implied consent for suspects over the age of 21.
Al acusado le leyó la tarjeta del consentimiento implícito para sospechosos mayores de 21 años.
And the officer asked for a state administered breath test.
Y el oficial pidió la prueba de detección de alcohol en el aliento aprobado por el Estado.
The defendant refused,
El acusado se negó a hacer la prueba
and all these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia.
y todos esos sucesos sucedieron en el condado de Fulton, Georgia.
Your Honor, the state's very concerned about this defendant and the risk of public safety.
Su señoría, el Estado está muy preocupado por el acusado y cómo él presenta un riesgo a la seguridad pública.
This would be his second in life and would be his second in 5.
Este caso sería el segundo caso en la vida y el segundo caso de lo mismo en un plazo de 5 años.
He is not only a risk to public safety, but also a flight risk, and he poses a risk of violating his bond order.
Él no solamente es un riesgo a la seguridad pública, sino es un riesgo de fugarse y también existe la posibilidad que incumple la orden de fianza.
As you've heard from pretrial, he has a prior open DUI case.
Como usted escuchó decir el representante de asuntos previos al juicio, él ya tiene un caso de manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol abierto, anterior, un caso anterior. Perdón.
The offense date, July 19th, 2020.
La fecha de la infracción anterior. If the interpreter may ask you to repeat that date, please. I'm sorry.
It's okay. July 19th, 2020.
El 19 de julio de 2020.
It was filed on November 30th, 2021.
que se presentó en el tribunal el 30 de noviembre de 2021.
This case was bound over from the Roswell Municipal Court on August 12th, 2021.
El caso fue consignado del Tribunal Municipal de la ciudad de Roswell el 12, de agosto de 2021.
He received a $7,500 total bond from the city of Roswell.
Le impusieron una fianza total en la ciudad de Roswell de $7,500.
Defendant had a plea and arraignment before Judge Roth on March 17th, 22.
También él tenía una audiencia para presentar su declaración a las infracciones ante el juez Roth el 17 de marzo de 2022.
And he failed to appear.
Y no se presentó a la audiencia.
An arrest warrant was issued on March 23rd, 2022.
Entonces se emitió una orden de arresto el 23 de marzo de 2022.
And the judge imposed a $5,000 surety bond.
Y el juez le impuso una fianza, un bono de fianza de $5,000.
The case was placed in dormant bench warrant status.
Y el caso quedó en condición de orden de arresto inactivo.
Your Honor, the law, when you're out on bond, it is implied that you do not violate any laws while you're out on bond.
Su señoría, la ley dispone que cuando uno está en libertad bajo fianza, que no incumpla la ley mientras está en libertad bajo fianza.
He was not even supposed to be behind the wheel, as his driver's history states he is not licensed.
Ni siquiera se supone que tenía que estar al volante, como el historial de manejo que él tiene hace constar que no tiene licencia para conducir.
And for that reason, Your Honor, we're asking for the $17,000 surety bond total.
Y por ese motivo, su señoría, estamos pidiendo un total de $17,000 en fianza.
Nothing further from the state.
El Estado dice presentado.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, these are allegations and my client is presumed innocent.
Licenciada Gant, sí, por el momento esos son solamente alegaciones y a mi cliente se le presume inocente.
I am requesting a signature bond,
Yo estoy pidiendo una fianza bajo palabra.
and if Your Honor determines that he's ineligible, then a total bond of no more than $5,000.
Si su señoría determina que él no cumple requisitos para una fianza bajo palabra, entonces estamos pidiendo una fianza total de $5,000.
$2,000 for the DUI less safe and $1,000 for the remaining.
$2,000 por la infracción de manejar bajo el riesgo de embriaguez y $1,000 por las demás infracciones.
We are opposed to the ADET.
Sí, nos oponemos a la imposición de la evaluación de alcohol y droga con tratamiento.
Mr. Blanco de la Luz is 36 years old and has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 7 years.
El señor Blanco de la Luz tiene 36 años de edad y lleva 7 años en el área de Atlanta.
He has family here, including a brother, a cousin, and he has 3 children, ages 12, 9, and 7.
Él tiene familia acá que incluye un hermano, un primo y también 3 hijos de las edades 12, 9 y 7 años.
He completed elementary school and at this time he is employed in construction.
Completó la primaria y actualmente trabaja en construcción.
He has been working in construction for 6 years.
Lleva 6 años trabajando en construcción.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
La defensa dice presentado.
For the DUI, it's going to be a $5,000 good bond. For the failure to keep in proper lane, a $500 good bond. For the no driver's license, a $2,000 good bond. For the tag, a $500 good bond. That totals $8,000 good bond.
Para manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol o riesgo de embriaguez, el bono de fianza será $5,000. Para no mantenerse en el carril de tránsito, la fianza será $500. Por manejar sin licencia, la fianza será $2,000. Y por lo de la placa, la fianza será $500. En total, el bono de fianza será $8,000.
No driving while out on bond and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
No puede manejar en absoluto mientras está en libertad bajo fianza y nada de consumo de alcohol ni droga ni tenencia de armas.
Good luck to you, Mr. Blanco de la Cruz.
Buena suerte, señor Blanco de la Luz.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Gracias,
You're
señoría.
welcome. Let's see, Mr. Fortis. If you need to speak with
Yes,
your
sir.
client, if you need to speak with your client, I'm happy to put you in a breakout room. I'll put the interpreter in there also, just in case she is needed, if that's okay with you.
That's fine, Judge. Thank you. I'll accept that.
Okay, so let's put Mr. Fortis and Madam Interpreter into a breakout room with courtroom number 1. And then while they're doing that, let's move on to position number 8, where I think there's also been a breakout room requested of me.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
So let's see, Miss. Sorry, Miss Crawford. Miss Kim, this is your case, is that right?
Which one is it again, Your Honor? I couldn't hear.
Position number 8.
Yes, that's
Chantel,
my case.
Washington.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you filed a waiver in that case, I believe.
Yes, Your Honor.
And we can go ahead and put Miss Bridgewater in there with us also. All right, so. Are we ready on Mr. Lopez?
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready.
Okay. And are we gonna need the interpreter?
Your Honor,
Yes, Your
did-
Honor.
Okay, okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Lopez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You agree to have your case heard by video?
Buenas tardes, señor. Yo soy el juez Eric Morrow. Estamos en la sala estatal del condado de Fulton, la lista de causas para acusaciones expeditadas. ¿Está de acuerdo usted que se lleva a cabo esta audiencia por video?
Can he hear us?
It looks like he might be frozen, Your Honor.
Okay.
It seems, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's see if he heard. I'll ask if he heard me. Señor, ¿me escuchó?
Sí, doy permisos, está bien.
Yes, I do. I give my permission. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Lopez, you've been charged with battery.
Muy bien, señor. Gracias. Señor López se le acusa de violencia.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
¿Hay antecedentes, licenciado Howard?
Second arrest, 1996 DUI.
Es su segundo arresto. En 1996 había uno de manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol.
Sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at 1903 Tree Lodge Parkway.
Sí, su señoría. El sucedido ocurrió en el 1903 de la Tree Lodge Parkway.
In Atlanta. The victim in the case is Maria Rivero.
En Atlanta. Y la víctima es María Rivera.
Officers responded to the incident location regarding a dispute call.
Los agentes de policía acudieron al lugar del incidente referente a una llamada por una disputa.
The victim informed officers that the defendant came home, went into the bedroom that they share and accused her of cheating.
Entonces, la víctima explicó que el señor acusado llegó a la casa, fue a la recámara que ellos comparten y le acusó de haberlo engañado.
The victim stated,
Judge, I'm sorry. I was going to object, to all the facts being read. I mean, those are just allegations. I mean, we're just concentrating here on the Ayala factors, unless I'm mistaken.
Yo me opongo a que lea los hechos del caso. Si no me equivoco, solamente nos estamos enfocando en los factores establecidos por el caso anterior de Ayala.
and Your Honor,
Hold on, objection is noted and overruled. Go ahead, Ms. Howard.
La objeción, yo hago nota de su objeción y niego la protesta. Adelante, señora fiscal.
Thank you, Your Honor. The victim informed officers that the defendant was intoxicated and had been drinking all afternoon.
La víctima informó a los agentes que el señor acusado estaba ebrio, que había tomado alcohol toda la tarde.
The defendant grabbed the victim's phone from her and, the defendant grabbed the victim and attempted to take her phone.
El señor acusado agarró a la víctima intentando quitarle el teléfono.
The victim resisted and the defendant continued to grab her, causing injuries to her leg.
La víctima se resistió, pero el señor acusado siguió intentando agarrarla, que causó lesiones en la pierna.
Those injuries were documented by officers.
Esas lesiones fueron documentados por los agentes de policía.
Your Honor, we initially did not have the report before the cutoff.
Inicialmente no recibimos el informe policial antes de la fecha límite.
So we will be amending this case to a battery family violence.
Entonces vamos a modificar la infracción que sea de violencia intrafamiliar.
As we've heard from pretrial, the defendant does have history of 1996 DUI guilty conviction.
Y como escuchamos del representante de los asuntos previos al juicio, él sí tiene antecedentes, un caso de manejar bajo el efecto de alcohol, donde fue determinado culpable en el 1996.
The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond.
La recomendación del Estado es en ponerle un bono de fianza de $3,000,
No contact with the victim,
una condición de ningún contacto con la víctima,
a stay away from the incident location,
que no vaya más al sitio del incidente,
1-day anger awareness,
que se presente a un curso de concientización de enojo, es una sesión de un solo día.
and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Y nada de consumo de alcohol ni droga ni tenencia de armas.
Thank you. Mr. Portis?
Gracias, señor licenciado.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before the court is Mr. Lopez.
Bueno, ante usted, señor juez, es el señor López.
We will be asking the court for a UJR.
Estamos pidiendo que le imponga un UGR.
Mr. Lopez is 49 years of age.
El señor López tiene 49 años.
He's been married to his wife, who is the alleged victim in this case, for the past 22 years.
Lleva 22 años de casado con su esposa, que es la presunta víctima en este caso.
He is a U.S. citizen.
Es ciudadano estadounidense.
Together, they have 4 children that reside at the residence, ages 15 to 23.
Juntos tienen 4 hijos que viven en la misma residencia. Sus edades son de entre 23 y 15 años.
They reside in Fulton County, Sandy Springs, in the same place for the last 5 years.
Y viven en el Coral y Fulton, la ciudad de Sandy Springs, en el mismo lugar durante los últimos 5 años.
This is the first time noted that the police have ever been called to the residence.
Hago notar que esa es la primera vez que se ha llamado a la policía para ir a la residencia de ellos.
He is employed as an HVAC engineer and that he has been in that industry for the past 20 years.
Él está trabajando como ingeniero de HVAC y lleva 20 años trabajando en esa industria.
His last encounter with any law enforcement whatsoever was roughly 25 years ago.
El último encuentro en absoluto con agentes del orden público fue hace más de 20 años.
Which ironically enough would be prior to his marriage of the alleged victim in this case.
Que irónicamente sería anterior a su matrimonio con la presunta víctima en este caso.
We would be again asking the court for a UJR.
Entonces vuelvo a pedirle al juez que le imponga un UJR.
I don't believe that the state has given the court any relevant information for there to be a complete stay away, and so we would be asking for a no violent contact.
No creo que el Estado ha presentado información, que amerite una condición de ningún contacto en absoluto. Estamos pidiendo en lugar de eso una condición de ningún contacto violento.
We have a complete different rendition of the facts in this matter.
Tenemos una recitación completamente diferente de los hechos, su señoría.
And at the proper time, we'll be ready to defend this case.
Y en el momento adecuado estaríamos preparados para presentar una defensa en este caso.
According to family members, my understanding is she wants him back in the residence.
Según los familiares, tengo entendido que ella quiere que él vuelva a la residencia.
But I haven't spoken with her personally about that. But given all the factors, we would ask the court for the UJR and no violent contact.
Yo no he hablado con ella personalmente al respecto, pero considerando los hechos del caso, estamos pidiendo un UJR y una condición de ningún contacto violento.
Your Honor,
Thank you, Judge.
Briefly,
Gracias, su señoría. Brevemente, su señoría.
Your Honor, briefly, this incident took place yesterday around 8:37 p.m.
El incidente sucedió ayer alrededor de las 8:37 de la noche, su señoría.
So given the facts and the allegations brought forth today, the state does not believe that there has been sufficient cooling off period.
Entonces, tomando en consideración los hechos y la información presentada hoy, el Estado no creo que haya pasado suficiente tiempo para que las partes se tranquilicen.
Further, without the victim here today to state she wants contact, the state would insist that there be a no contact order.
Además, como la víctima no está aquí presente hoy mismo para afirmar que quiere contacto con el acusado, estamos pidiendo que la condición sea ningún contacto en absoluto.
And a stay away from the incident location.
Y que no regrese al lugar del incidente.
Nothing further.
Presentado.
And Judge, if I may, I mean, all the state really presented was issue over a cell phone. I just don't find that to be overwhelming evidence that my client should not be able to go back to the residence.
Y si me permite, su señoría, lo único que presentó el Estado era información sobre un celular. Para mí no me parece pruebas contundentes para que él no tenga ningún contacto en absoluto con la víctima.
Okay.
Y, perdón, que no, para que él no vaya más a la residencia. Perdón.
All right, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail.
Entonces, habrá una fianza de $3,000, un bono de fianza a través de la cárcel.
No further violent contact with the alleged victim, Ms. Rivera.
Your Honor, may the interpreter make a correction? Your
Yes.
Honor, did you say, was that a $3,000 signature bond?
Yes.
The interpreter stands corrected. Let me repeat that, please. Entonces será, me corrijo, señor, será una fianza de $3,000 bajo fianza. Bajo palabra, bajo palabra.
No
Yes, Your
further
Honor.
violent contact with Ms. Rivera.
Entonces una fianza de $3,000, una fianza bajo palabra a través de la cárcel, ningún contacto violento con la señora Rivera.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Nada de consumo de alcohol, ni droga, ni tenencia de armas mientras está en libertad bajo fianza.
Okay, good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon. Thank you.
You as well, Judge. Good to see you.
You also.
Your Honor, were there any other cases that require my assistance?
No, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think that concludes our calendar. You have a good afternoon.
Everyone have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you. And when Ms. Bridgewater is ready, we can go through the calendar.
What's the bond for number 8?
Number 8 was a $1,500 good bond, mental health evaluation and treatment if necessary, stay away from Garden Inn on Shannon Parkway, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
With that being said, let's go over the calendar. Again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be August the 2nd. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $1,000 total SOB through the jail. Position number 2 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $8,000 total good bond. Position 3, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 4, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 5 is going to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. Position 6, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 7, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 8 is reset to the competency calendar, which is August the 4th with a $1,500 good bond, and I'll be awaiting that order for the mental health. And position 9, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, comments, corrections, or otherwise?
Doesn't appear to be. Thank you all. We appreciate it, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you.
Okay.
Have a
bye-bye.
good evening.